Well, you must be thinking that I am someone who has no childhood and I've been living under a rock, but this is actually the first time I watched the Avatar show. I didn't really have access to Nickelodeon growing up, and this is a show that aired when I was a baby, so it would make sense that I didn't watch it. But even like people my age, they watched it like years after the show like aired, cause like when they were kids. But it never really appealed to me at the time. But now I've been trying to get myself into like film and whatnot, and it's been more enjoyable. I'm only halfway through book 2, right after Aang like had to stop the drill train or whatever thing from hitting Ba Sing Se, and I gotta say, I missed out. This is a show that I wish I watched when I was a kid. I mean, it's still enjoyable now, but as a 21-year-old, there are just some things that just aren't as entertaining. But I can see why this show is praised a lot for it's not only it's like a family-friendly show, but it doesn't fear to tackle like real important subject matter that is explored a lot in here, where like war and like the ideologies between each of the nations. Fire is like all about power and whatnot. Air is about freedom. Earth and water about change and foundation. I just love seeing the world building that they did and the characters that we got introduced. This show is something that I wish I watched earlier, but better late than never. And good timing, by the way, because the sequel comes out in a few days, in like 5 days, right from when this video is posted. I made a video earlier, like a couple months ago, that the Avatar movie got leaked, but I haven't watched it yet, and I think it's still available on Twitter if you search deep enough. I'm gonna watch it on Paramount because I want to give my support to the people who made this. So I'll make sure to catch up on the show by then. But anyways, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts right now, and I'm going to start with my favorite character so far, Zuko. I've always heard from whenever people talk about Avatar, I never really got into their discussion, but I always hear something about Zuko being the best character and him having the best redemption arc in like TV shows in general, like the best redemption arc ever. Well, I just wrapped up on that one episode where he was alone and he was like saving one of these this kid's from this like family or whatever, and then when he revealed himself to be Zuko, they didn't like thank him because because the Fire Nation was responsible for one of their family members' death. And just seeing Zuko tackle through all these like challenges and trials with his uncle, and him understanding that there is more to life than to just conquer and take power and have honor under his ruthless father. And I really enjoyed seeing his flashbacks and seeing why he hates Azula so much, and why it was doomed for her at the beginning that she was going to be a really evil person. And seeing his mother play a role, well, even though she is absent during the time at his childhood, she is what makes Zuko potentially be a good guy. But for now, he is still kind of iffy. But I like the build-up, and I like how it's like we're getting somewhere, and I'm not even done with book 2 yet, so I'm really excited to see where this all leads up to, because I've been spoiled. They become friends, but I want to see how it all happens. I also think that Aang is, he's growing too. With Appa going missing, he starts to tackle through his emotions and his control of being the Avatar. When he goes nuts to butts, would he be a danger? Would he be a threat? Because he needs to make sure he controls his emotions. He needs to control himself and be ready, because when he faces the Fire Lord Ozai, who knows? What if one of his friends die? And then, he has to be ready for that. And I'm glad that he goes through that kind of challenge here. I think he's gone through a lot of growth since the first season, even though he's still a kid, which makes sense. It's still understandable. He's going to be a reckless little boy here and every now and then, but not as reckless as he was from the very beginning. This is someone who has truly grown. I loved seeing him. I also enjoy seeing Sokka too. He's somewhat growing in a way. Like, he's still funny, and he's that comedic relief, but he does show a lot of compassion and care that he does want to help Aang succeed in defeating the Fire Nation. He he does have his, clever wits when necessary. He also has a good intuition when it comes to like encountering certain characters who may not be as good as they seem, like Jet, for example. I just love everything that this show has done. I'm really excited to see where it goes from here. But that's just kind of me updating you on where I am currently at the show. I'm not gonna bother giving my full out review like once the show is over, because I'm pretty sure you already know the answer. It's probably gonna be good, so I'll be ready to give my thumbs up right before I review the Avatar movie. Anyways, that's all I gotta say. I realize I don't really need to make long videos anymore. Usually my videos are like 10 minutes long, but I can keep things concise within 5 minutes, and I probably should just keep it that way. Unless if I have more to add on to, this is probably gonna be the runtime for the usual vids. Anyways, no need to blabber on. That's all I wanted to say. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.